Cam Radio, Tony G, Big Lou, the sports book every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Lots to talk about. Going to try to get back to college football. Only got an hour, so I know a lot of people are like, you don't give college. I get it. I understand that. We only got an hour. Hope hope everyone had a great Christmas. I hope everyone was blessed. Now we're on the New Year's Eve. Hope everyone has some great plans. Stay safe on the New Year's Eve. It's always amateur night, as they say. Do you have a nice holiday, Lou?
Had a great holiday. Spent Christmas here with my sis and my niece. It was a small crew this year. We
Cool.
didn't do too much. We kind of just chilled. But we did have a great Christmas Eve. Spent a little time with my cousin. His son turned 3 years old day before yesterday.
Oh,
And
congrats.
man, we had a yeah, had a great time, great little time.
That's what it's all about. It's all about family getting together. Had some
Hmm.
really good football games. These are the two that got me rolling. Picked the Chiefs over the Steelers and the Ravens over the Texans. I think
Hmm.
the Chiefs showed why Pittsburgh. When I say that, the last few years they've had good teams, but every time they play
Right.
the team of the next level, they've been 13-3, went to the playoffs, got knocked off. And I think the same with the Ravens. The Ravens
Yes.
proved that the Texans are not. They're a good team, and they're on the coming up style, but they're not on the. I mean, you got to stop the. I mean, when it comes to the Chiefs were just definitely Russell Wilson. He threw for 205 yards. Pat threw for over 300. Um, but they missed. He was 23 out of 37. Missed some balls. You know what I mean? It was some drop balls, badly thrown balls, one interception, nothing. But they did get to him for 5 sacks. They never got close to Patrick on the sacks, or they got close, but he didn't get. He did not get sacked. And then and they really didn't do a lot of. What's weird was Kareem Hunt had 20 yards. Pacheco only had 18. Patrick Mahomes had 12. And they only ran for like 69 yards. He threw up 320 in the air, um, put 13 on him in the last four quarters. Um, the last quarter, make it 29-10. Definitely, like I said, Chiefs 15-1, man. They're just keep on rolling with the roll.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
then Baltimore with Houston. I mean, it was they were out. They were. I know Houston is missing some people, um, but you can't let Derrick Henry run for 147 and then Lamar run for 87
Right.
because you got to put the ball in his hands to make him win or lose it by passing. You can't
Yes.
just like because
Yes.
he only threw the ball 15 times. He didn't have to. They were just eating up the clock, scoring scoring touchdowns. I mean, Derrick Henry had a touchdown. That was the first touchdown he had in
Hmm.
5 weeks, by the way. Lamar Jackson had a touchdown. Mark Andrews had a touchdown, and Isaiah Likely had a touchdown. I mean, it
Hmm.
was they Houston rushing Joe Mixon 20 yard or maybe 26 yards, and like I said, the Ravens proved why the Ravens are the Ravens, and I think the Texans are, I think Texans are good, but I still think they got some injuries, and it'll be next
Hmm.
year before they really, really. Um, Now this game, I'm gonna tell you this. So that's two wins. So then I go to the third game, Thursday night game, Seahawks and the Bears.
Right.
It's like watching paint dry. But they kick a field goal
Terrible.
in the first. They kick a field goal in the first quarter, and I'm
First quarter.
looking and,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I should go under. I didn't. I was like, so I went to the kicker prop, The field
Mhm.
goal kicker, all he needed was 7.5 points. Well, he's already got one in the first quarter. All he needs is four. And I said, this looks like it's going to be a field goal game.
Right.
And it was, but it was terrible. I mean, they couldn't, it was terrible. It was a terrible
Yeah.
game. 6-3,
Yeah.
that's where they ended. He had 6 points, and he said, I thought for sure they would kick another field goal. Um,
Right.
Seattle's offense didn't look much better than the Bears.
No,
I
no, they
mean,
did not. It was a nasty game, ugly game. Rain. It was just what most would say that played a sport that would be good football weather. Most would was that actually play football. They like those type of games, but it just didn't. It couldn't. You couldn't generate any offense. Neither team couldn't generate any offense or get in the end zone. So it just turned out to be a kick fest, and we don't like kick fest. We like to see touchdowns. So it was probably the longest game of the season with the
it was
with the score of 6-3.
it was enough at the end of the game. By the end of the game, um, by the end of the game, Chicago's quarterback for the season has been sacked 66 times.
Unacceptable.
Cal- Caleb Williams, that's not the record, by the way. The record's 74. I can't remember who it was with. Um, he was sacked 7 times by Seattle. 7 times, Lou. That's a lot of
Wow.
sacks.
Hmm.
And
That's
they got to get that young man some protection.
Yes, they do. They got to get us a protection. They got to get a coach in there that knows what they need. A veteran coach, a seasoned coach. Now, there's been names that's been thrown out there in the media, but nothing is etched in stone yet. Um, but he definitely needs a veteran head coach to take care of him. Pete Carroll was one of the names that
I heard
was
that.
thrown out there for that job. I guess with his USC ties, kind of knows Caleb a little bit. He might be able to get in there and get some stuff going with him. But I do agree that they need a veteran coach because they've been trying this new stuff, Tony, for many seasons now, and it hasn't done anything for them. You have a number one draft pick that's potentially could be one of the great quarterbacks in the league, but he just
Could be.
needs tutelage and needs the right coach that can bring out the best in him and someone that can build that team. Because although he has good weapons around him, they need a team and they need an identity. So they have to get a veteran coach that can bring that identity to them. I don't think nobody's new. I don't think nobody new fresh out of college or fresh off the scene is going to do that for them. They need a
Right.
veteran coach.
Well, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, they need what they've been doing isn't working. They've had two number one draft quarterbacks, and they're both. I mean, yeah, they were put. I think I said the good old media was putting so much on the Bears in the beginning of the season, and he had some good games. They finished 4-12, really not better, much better than they were last year. That being said, still a far way. A lot of work to be done in Chicago. A lot of work. Now,
Absolutely. Mhm.
so we had Wednesday game, Thursday game,
Mhm.
and then we had Saturday games. The
Mhm.
Chargers and the Patriots. The Chargers smoked the poor Patriots 40 to
Oof,
7. Um,
oof.
yeah, they had Chargers had a field day with Justin Herbert had 3 TDs. Um, Drake May, he didn't have a lot of yardage, but he didn't have any interceptions. They just got manhandled, um,
Right.
and just got manhandled, and it was set. I think going into the half, it was 20 to 7, and then they just
Mhm.
put the foot on it, and then it went 30, 40 to 7. Um, didn't really have a lot on this. We picked the Chargers. Obviously, we said the Chargers were the better of the two.
Mhm.
Now, the next game we were talking about was a lot of props. Was on the Bengals? I had the over, and I had I mean Joe Burrow had 412 yards. I had I had Chase at nine. I mean there was so much to be made on this backwards forwards with Joe Burrow hitting his numbers. I think he needed
Right.
250, 250. He paid top if you had three. He got sacked. He's another one. He got
Yeah,
sacked 7 times. Golly.
absolutely. Yeah, Bengals got to do something with that line, and they need a defensive overhaul.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they need to fix that defense.
I mean, he threw for 412 yards, three TDs, no interceptions. I mean, I told you, we both were saying, I said, he's going to put up some numbers. Bo Nix had an interception, didn't have a, it was a game. There was no doubt about it.
Yeah,
It was a,
yeah, that should have been a prime time game right there.
that was a good, money to be made. Definitely made money on that game. All
Hmm.
right, let's see what else we got. The Rams
Uh,
and the Cardinals. Remember that? We were
Rams
like,
and
yeah,
Cardinals. Yeah,
that's going to be.
yeah,
And the Rams find themselves in the playoffs.
yes, they do.
And the Cardinals are, are the Cardinals actually eliminated? I think, are they? I'm trying to see. Let's go
Oh,
standings. I can't think if they're
okay, because I can't
mathematically they
think off
may
them. Right, mathematically, maybe, but with the Seahawks being out, and I think the Seahawks had the better record, if I'm not mistaken.
eliminated. They're eliminated. San Fran,
Okay,
Arizona, Seattle, all eliminated.
yeah, all done.
Los yeah, at Los Angeles Rams clinched the divisions. Okay, so they're still all right. That makes um that makes more sense. Let me go here and let's do this. All right, let's do okay.
Right. Because it was a divisional game, I didn't expect for it to be, high flying, high powered, big numbers. I didn't expect for it to be that because they play in the same division, so they know each other pretty well. I didn't
Yeah, they
expect
play
for that
tough.
game to
Yeah,
be high scoring. Yeah. I figured it
yeah,
would be somewhere probably 20 to 17 or something around that nature, 17-13. I thought it'd be something around that and ended up being 13-9, so I was close. But I did I because those division games sometimes they don't be blowouts like that unless the team is just terrible.
right, right. That's very, very true. They usually, yeah, usually they're pretty tight. How about them Bills, man? They smoked them. The Jets.
How
Holy
about the
cow!
Bills? Let's go Buffalo. Just to piggyback off what we just said about the last game, these division rival games are normally not like that unless the team is just terrible. And this is the
Right?
perfect example. The Jets had nothing for the Bills. I actually watched that game from start to finish, and I it's hard to argue Josh Allen MVP. It's hard to argue that. Now, the quarterbacks that they got there are in the running for it. They make a good stand for it.
Oh
Lamar,
yeah, Lamar. Yeah,
Lamar, um, Josh Allen, of course, maybe even Joe Burrow might be in
yeah.
there. We can't forget Sam Donald.
No, you
And
can't forget
then
him.
we can't forget him. He's done some work. Now I know we're basing that off of what he used to be, but the MVP is a seasonal award. So we're just gonna
Most valuable
judge,
player. Yeah,
right? So we're gonna judge off of what he's done this season. And he's right up there. He's right up there with those guys. So, I
absolutely.
doubt if he gets it, but he could be in the running. But
So
hats off to the Bills. They played an excellent game. I really enjoyed it.
I think I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Jets. They were so they were so high on them early in the season, and that goes back to everything. It doesn't matter what they say. You still got to play the game.
Got to play the
Still,
game.
still got to play the game, and nothing's going to be handed to you. Um, now we go to the Saints. I like Spence Rattler. I like his arm strength, but
Yes.
they just for some reason they can't get any offense going with him. I like it. The kid's got a gangster arm, and it's just
Right.
like he it just can't. I know they're missing so many people that it's just.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I
They're
guess the Saints
missing
are going to be a total, total revamp end of year.
that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing there's a total revamp. I think Spencer Rattler needs to just watch the game. I think if he could sit and just let the game slow down for him, he might be a better quarterback because you can see the potential. But I just think right now it's too fast. It's too fast for him. He can't because there's a lot of information and you got a few seconds to dissect a lot of information. So I think he needs to sit and let that game slow down, and then over time he can develop and learn. Kind of like Jordan Love. The only bad
Yeah,
part about that is he don't have the quarterback in front of him that
right,
will allow
right.
him the time to do that.
That's yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the off season. How about the Giants pulling off, which I consider an upset over the Colts? My hats
Mm-hmm.
off to them. They played. I mean, they played hard. Um, they got Drew Lock playing quarterback. He had 309 yards, 400. And then they had Joe Flacco back in, and Joe threw for 330 yards,
Right.
which is, and for the Jets, going back to that real quick, they brought in Tyrod Taylor,
Yes.
and the Bills
Yes.
gave him a standing ovation because he got us back to our that one playoff game that we hadn't been
That one
in
playoff.
years. They
Right.
kind of put us in the kind of brought some stuff. And I like him.
Right.
He's been in the league for a while. He backed up
Yes.
Joe Flacco during the yeah, I think he backed him up 4 years, got a Super Bowl ring behind Joe Flacco. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got Drew Lock over there in New York, and Joe Flacco still playing. Good for him. Uh, Indiana, like I said, these games are kind of tough because there's a lot of nothing going on about nothing, and you don't know
Mm-hmm.
really. Um, the Eagles and the Cowboys, uh, the backup quarterback for Kenny Pickett really played well. Um, I mean, man, they were just Saquon Barkley ran all over the field. Uh, Cowboys, Rico had 104. Um, yeah, the Cowboys 7-9, probably going to end up 8-9 for the
Mm-hmm.
year. Lot to do there. The Eagles look tough. They're one of the top
Yes.
teams in the NFL. Nothing smart move, not playing the starter. No doubt about that.
Right.
No shame in that. The Panthers and the Buccaneers just went the Buccaneers. We call that. So look, this should be and the Bucks got back in there.
Yes. What a game by Baker Mayfield. What a game. I think he's finally found his sweet spot. I think Tampa is the team for him. He's down there with Todd Bowles, the quarterback whisperer, if you
Yeah,
will. I think he's found his notch in Tampa Bay. He
yeah,
put
350. Jolly, he had great numbers, 5 TDs,
great,
359.
great
Yeah,
numbers. And this is without Godwin.
yeah,
I could just imagine if he had Godwin with Mike Evans, with the running with Bucky Irvin, I think, they could have did a lot more damage. But my hats off to Baker. I was on and off. I just, I knew he was a capable quarterback. I just felt like it was upstairs, a little bit too much bravado. But him having that chip, he was able to bounce back. It started when he was in LA behind, it
Yeah,
started there.
I agree. I
And
agree. I agree.
that just lets you know that the system in Carolina was dead because everybody that went there, Sam Donald, Baker, they were there at the same time. Now look at both of them. They leave Carolina. Sam Donald's playing out of his mind. Baker's playing out of
Yes.
his. So that, it wasn't the person, it was the place.
Um, so then we had the Jaguars and Titans. This was a game we didn't like the next two games. We didn't really the Jaguars and the Titans, and we didn't like the Dolphins and the Browns. Not that we didn't like it, but it was just it could go either way. The Dolphins did
Mm-hmm.
handle they did handle the Browns. You see, they're reworking his contract. They're reworking uh, um, Deshaun Watson's
Deshaun
contract,
Watson. Mm-hmm.
trying to get something going there. Try to get
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
try
Try
to
to
get some.
spread some of that
Yeah,
out.
spread some of it out.
Yeah. And it's
Both.
most of it, if I'm not mistaken, most of it is I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's like well, since I can't think of the words, it's performance
Okay.
driven. Performance
Okay.
driven. That's what I was trying to say. He's got to do he's got to make certain stats to get, to get more money. And I don't know. Because
Well,
they
if he
can't
wants
move
to,
him. No one's gonna pick that
no,
money up.
can't move them, and and he's not moving forward. The team's not moving in a progressive way. So
Right.
they're trying to shake stuff up. Now this Packer Viking game,
Woo.
and this is what you were saying.
Mhm.
Um, Sam Darnold went from being kicked around the league to, and and Jordan Love, they had a 185, got sacked three. He didn't have a terrible day. So, but here's the funny thing about Sam Arnold. He's leading this team to the best record in the NFC right now, and he doesn't even have a home because he's only there for 1 year.
Right.
But I mean, are they? The key word is are they going to sign him? What do you do? Do
I
you let him
would.
walk? I mean, would you let him walk
I
away
wouldn't.
because your star quarterback? You know what I mean? The one that you drafted got hurt.
Wouldn't. I would re-sign Donald. I would let JJ McCarthy fully heal. This is your future.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you let him fully heal and maybe pick up some more pointers off of the game, and you let Sam Donald do his thing. You sign him,
Yes.
you make it sweet for him, but you don't kill yourself so that you can continue to build your team. But I would retain him if it was, I
I
wouldn't
think
let
you
him
have
go
to.
to another team. I wouldn't let him go to another team. I would resign him.
Uh,
But then
what
that
was
way
it?
my rookie can heal.
Was it 7 years ago? They had Vikings had Case Keenum, and
Case Keenum.
he led them to the promised land, and then they got rid of him. Now
Yeah.
he never did anything after that. He got paid, and he did okay. My thing is, it's like poker. You got to ride the wave sometimes, because when you
Right.
stop riding the wave, because you could be walking around being lucky and you don't even know it. You got to ride. Man, I would stick with Sam Darnold until the wheels fell off, and
Right.
by that time, because what if he comes back next year and does the same thing? You know what I mean? I mean, who
Absolutely.
cares? Yeah. So, and the season isn't even over yet, and it may be, who knows how far, because apparently they're a lot better than I thought they were. I was starting to, um, you know, try to go, well, gee, are they really any good? Maybe they haven't played anybody. Blah 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 blah. Well, guess what?
Right.
They've beat people. Yeah, they're 14-2. They're the real deal. Um, so yeah, it's that was a great game. I picked the over, got that in overtime. Um, and then the last game, which was pretty impressive, also was the Commanders and the Falcons. The Falcons got them a young quarterback replacing um, Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Penix, he has a heck of an arm. Still
Oh
needs some
yes.
work though. Yeah, he needs
Yes.
he definitely needs some work. And Kirk Cousins is right there, and him and they were standing next to each other. They're communicating. Kirk Cousins being a class act.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I mean, he's been in the league a long time. He's made a lot of money.
Oh
Um,
yes.
and Kirk performed in the beginning of the season. Then he kind of it fell off, and it might have been some injuries and some things weren't working
Mm-hmm.
out. Um, but Washington, man, Jaden Daniels was getting off
Yes,
on
he
the
was.
running. Yeah, man, 127 yards. Um, there was like I said, this went to overtime. This was another over. I picked two overs that went to overtime. That was crazy. And barely just got in. I was like, wow, all I need is they both were 50 and a half, matter of fact. It's so crazy though, because like the Falcons, they're trying, and the Commanders are they should get in. They're in it, but they got 11-5 record, and they're going to be one, two. Where are they going to be? God, they could be a fifth or sixth seed with 11-5, because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many. Detroit, Minnesota, um, Tampa Bay is ahead of them. The Eagles are ahead of them. There's 4 or 5 teams. Yeah, so they're going to be a 5 or 6 seed with a 11
Mm-hmm.
and 5 or 12-5 record, which is pretty pretty bad, pretty badass considering everybody else in the NFC. So they had a good season. Jaden
Mm-hmm.
Daniels um, had a good had definitely had a good day. All right, when we get back, we're going to give you our picks. Looks to be the last week in the NFL, which is crazy. We wait. It's like we go through this huge hype, and we go through we make it through college basketball, a little bit of NBA. We squeak by with whatever we can get by with, a little bit of some baseball, some hockey, and all we wait
Mm-hmm.
for is that September 9th game to kick off, and then it's like
Yes, sir.
everything is good again.
Yeah,
Everything is
everything's good
good.
again.
And then
Absolutely.
now we got the whole season. It's hard to believe all these weeks have gone by. All right, when we get back, we're gonna cover our spreads for the last and final week. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in on this New Year's Eve to check in with us. Hope everyone be safe. Had a great holiday. All right, we'll be back right here on KM Radio where we go ham.
And
KM Radio, it's your boy Tony G, Big Lou, the sports book. Every Tuesday night, I want to thank everyone on this New Year's Eve for listening to us. Hope you guys are safe tonight. Don't forget it's amateur night. New Year's Eve is always going to be amateur night. All right, let's get into it. So it's the last week of the season. There's a lot of things you got to consider. Um, so we got a game. It's Cleveland and the Baltimore. Cleveland is a 17 points. They're getting 17 points. And the factor is, yes, they will play them tough. Baltimore will play them tough. In fact, Cleveland beat them last time. So there is a factor, but it's just
mhm.
whether or not Baltimore keeps Lamar in or if they have to. Right now, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, there isn't a winner of the division yet. So that being said, I think Baltimore is going to come out and try to steamroll the Ravens. 17 is a lot
Mhm.
of points, though. Um, and Cleveland did beat them earlier in
Mhm.
the year. Uh, they have had some injuries since then. The Ravens are playing at home, and they are playing for something. Um, so it's a lot of points. I do like the over, though. I do like the over. The over's 42.
Mhm.
I'd have to read and see exactly who's. I really like the Ravens at 10, but at 17, that's just so many points because Cleveland could come out and play tough just because they have nothing to lose. And that's what I don't like
Absolutely.
sometimes. On Yeah, it's just a lot of points, but I do like the over. I would revisit revisit it when when game time came. Uh, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Who you like? They're playing
Ooh,
in Pittsburgh.
playing in Pittsburgh. Hmm. Uh, I want to go Bengals, but it's division,
It
division.
is.
But and Steelers play good at home. They play great defense. Um, the Bengals defense is kind of suspect now.
It is.
But
It
if
is.
they could put some pressure on Russ, then they can control that game. I kind of like the Bengals in this game,
Me too.
even
I like.
though even though the Steelers record is better. I kind of like the Bengals in this game because I feel like um I feel like the Bengals offense is better than Pittsburgh's offense. And I think that's what it's going. I think that's what's going to be the key factor. I think they're going to put some pressure on Russ. They're going to make his day very difficult, and I think the Bengals pull this one off because of that.
I like the Bengals. And I like Chase to go over his yardage, and I like Joe Burrow to go over his yardage. So that's a three bet right there in one game. I just
Mhm.
don't see Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh might squeeze out a win, but I think. I mean, I like Cincinnati to win, but I like Chase and Joe Burrow to cover their
Yeah,
prop
uh-huh. I'm right there with you.
because
I
that
like I
yeah
like Joe Burrow and Chase better than Russ and Pickens because
yeah so
Pickens
I yeah
been yeah he's been dropping a few. He needs to he needs to get back on the groove.
I totally agree, and yeah, I'm right now. We're just because it's Sunday, we're putting everything in the books. All
Mhm.
righty. I mean, Cincinnati's 8-8. Pittsburgh needs a win because they need to keep. So they need to keep. They got to win. If Let me see
Us if the
if the
Ravens win, they'll be 12-5.
yeah
So the
then the
Steelers
best
really need this dub. They really need this win.
yeah yeah. Um, Now they both clinched the playoff. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So, but yeah, I like Cincinnati. Definitely like Cincinnati. All
Hmm.
right, next game. Can your Saints with 13 points? Can they can they handle up with the Buccaneers?
I don't think this is my team, but I do not think that they're going to be able to do any damage with Baker in Tampa.
Yeah.
And these guys are on a roll. They're also playoff contention is on the line for them. I feel like if the Saints lay down to the Raiders, but it's like that. They'll lay down to a team that's outside their division, and then they'll show up for a divisional rivalry, for a division rival. But the Saints offense is not gelling. They got too many
No.
injuries. And Baker Mayfield is he's in the zone right now. And I think they're gonna pull out the victory.
Well, Baker needs this. If Baker wins Sunday, they win the division and they're in the playoffs.
Hmm.
So I think there's a lot. And I agree with you. I hate to say that, but the Saints offense just has I mean, it's been bad.
Hmm.
And it just can't get on the same page. Um and the kid's got a great arm and
Right.
it's just not accurate enough and they're
He's not ready
off
yet.
pace. Yeah, yeah, they're not off. Him and the receivers haven't really um just haven't gelled. Um but I still don't I mean I like I said it's still one of them dangerous bets with the 13 because it is a
Hmm.
conference game and you
Right.
never know what could happen. The over's 43 and a half. I
Yes.
do, and that's, but that's the way the Saints defense been playing. Um, the under would be 45. I don't know. You have to really look at this come game time because
Hmm.
Tampa can score some points, um, but you can't rely on the Saints to score enough points to have it eight, maybe 10 points, maybe. Um,
Right.
and the Tampa is but it is a conference game, so it's just one of them games you just got to come back and look at. Um, like I said, we're looking for easy wins. We're not really looking for bright trying to
Right. If you have to
cause my
think, yeah, if you
that
have to
hard
think too
about it. Yeah,
long, yeah, if you have to think too long, or you have to come up with something to convince you in your head, then you might want to take your time with that. Take your
yeah.
time with it. Look at the.
Atlanta and the Panthers. I would tweak that. I would tweak that maybe to four with Atlanta,
Hmm.
uh, or take Carolina plus tweak that the other way and go 12. Because Carolina's been in it at times, and Atlanta definitely
I,
they're good, but
yeah.
I like Carolina with enough points. Um,
Hmm.
you probably can get Atlanta plus 12 and not be giving up much.
Hmm.
So in the overs 47, money lines 430. That's another one, and you need to really look and pay attention to who's out um, for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, play with the spread on that one. Now the Washington and Dallas. I don't get this one. -4. The Commanders are only giving up 4 points to Dallas, and I just don't
Hmm.
see why. Um, I know a couple weeks ago Washington played kind of eh. I mean, I take Washington minus the minus the 4.
Right. Because Dallas
And
really has nothing to play for.
no, they got a lot of
They
injuries. CD Lamb,
not
they
yeah.
got a lot of injuries. Um, and why risk anyone else for a meaningless game? I mean, they're playing to fit. They're playing to have a winning record right now. Let me see. No, they can't have a. They're 7-9.
Yeah.
They can
Yeah,
go
7
eight.
and 9 right now.
Yeah, so they
8 and
can't
8.
even have a winning. Yeah, so they
Yeah.
can't
They
even
can't even
have
go
a.
500.
So it doesn't even at that point.
Do you
So
put Trey Lance in?
yeah,
Is it a
maybe
Trey Lance game?
could be. I
I
mean, it
say
could
that
be.
and
It
I
could.
laugh, but not to laugh at the young fella because but we haven't seen any football from him in years, seasons. So I would put him in to see if I can get some, in case I need to use him to try to get some players next season. Put him
Yeah,
in there and see what he can do. See what he can do.
because Washington has clinched
Hmm.
wild card. And I think that'll. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington maybe sat some of their starters going into the second half.
Hmm.
But right now, I mean, I like Washington -4.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'll take Washington at -4 as well.
Chicago and Green Bay in Green Bay. I think.
Mm,
I think Green Bay is going to have their way with them. I think
I
they're going to
agree.
sack them. And if you can find a prop, how many times they're going to sack them? If you can take five, take five, because I think they're going to get to them. Let's see where Green Bay's at. So Green Bay has clinched a wild card.
Okay.
All right.
So they might do the same thing. Play the first half, start sitting people after halftime during the third quarter, especially if they
Yeah.
have a considerable lead. I think they're going to sit some people. So yeah, and the Bears are the
Still
Bears.
like, yeah, and I still like I said, I still like Green Bay.
Hmm.
Um, and New York. All right. And then you got New York Giants at the Philadelphia. Philadelphia is only getting -3. They're coming with a backup quarterback.
Hmm.
I mean, I think even if they sit Barkley, I still think Philly's got. He must be sitting everybody. That's all I can say on this one. They must be
Yeah.
sitting.
Yeah, he must not be running with a lot of starters for it to be what is that,
Yeah,
38?
because they clinched their division. They know they can't win number one seed. Well, nothing wrong with that because they know Minnesota or Detroit's got it.
Right.
And yeah, so they know that. So they must be coasting. And like I said, all these last games, you need to really look, see who they're sitting, maybe mess around with the over under. Um, because their backup quarterback played well. It wasn't like their backup quarterback didn't. I mean, they put a bunch of points up against the Cowboys. I mean,
Hmm.
Barkley did play, had 165 yards, but I mean, I think um, yeah, you just have to look at this stuff at game time, and that's going back to the last
Right.
game of the season. Because
Hmm.
here you got um, the Bills in New England. The Bills are -3. I heard they may start. Rumor has it they're going to start Josh for the first couple first couple sets, and then sit them.
Hmm.
Um, because Buffalo can't. They're the second seed.
Right.
Buffalo's the second seed. Win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter. So they're in that position. Kansas City's 15-1. Doesn't change anything. So Josh will probably play a couple sets and they'll pull him and go from there. So this is another one. The over under's 38. And like a lot of this stuff, you could do some live betting, watch the game,
Hmm.
see what's going on with it. Um,
Right.
Next game is Houston and Tennessee. Tennessee, uh, this is a pick 'em game. Houston has clinched the division.
Yes.
So they are way down. I mean, they clinched their division, so they're not going to slip. You know what I mean? They're going to be a third. They're going to be a fourth seed
Hmm.
because it's going to be Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and then Houston. Those are your four
Right.
divisional leaders, and then wild card. But the only thing for Houston is they could get a Los Angeles Charger team or a Pittsburgh or a Raven team with a better record than them first round.
Hmm. Right.
There is a chance of that.
Right.
Um, so that being said, um, and this could the Vegas has got them at a pick 'em, so obviously they're probably going to sit CJ Stroud, um, try to get everybody healthy. Like I said, just look game day. These are all game day. This is all um, and check out your see who is playing on the player props.
Hmm.
Um, Got to go from there. The Jaguars versus Indianapolis Colts. This is a this is kind of a nothing game. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, and nobody's going anywhere from here. Um, you got, but I do like the Colts at home.
Yeah.
But it's a
I like
nothing
the
game.
Colts at home.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a throwaway game, but I do like Colts at home.
Colts at home over
Especially with
Jaguars.
Flacco. Yeah, with Flacco in the center at home, I think they can take the Jaguars. Or they should be able to take the Jaguars.
And then we got Kansas City and Denver. So Denver, I don't know. We'll see who starts for Kansas City. I
Well, most
doubt home
likely it may
start.
be right. It
You
may be
think
Carson Wentz. Maybe Carson Wentz.
because no matter win, lose, or draw, they're the number one seed.
Right.
Now, Denver, Denver hasn't been eliminated yet.
No.
They're still in the hunt. So just like Miami is. So Denver's going to come to play.
Hmm.
And they got Denver at -10. They got Kansas City
Right.
+10. So obviously, we know who's starting, who ain't starting.
Right.
That's a lot of points, though. But I kind of like Denver at home playing for a playoff berth
I think so too.
because I think he sits everybody. I think he sits Pacheco. I think he sits Kelsey.
Since
I think he sits
Kelsey, Mahomes gonna sit. Uh
Yeah, he just sits everybody. Why
yeah.
not get him?
Chris
Let him.
Jones. Yeah. Get him healthy. Let him heal. Give
Yeah,
your
get him
starters,
another.
give your backups and your practice squad people some reps in. See who you're going to retain for the next season.
Yeah, Miami and the Jets. Miami's -1. So Miami hasn't been eliminated yet. So I don't know why the Jets are 1.5 favorite. Maybe because there's not an E next to. Yeah, so them and Seattle haven't been eliminated just yet. And I'm sure there's some
Right.
factors they would need to win. Pittsburgh,
That's gonna
I'm
yeah.
sure. Yeah, but
Yeah, some
I
things
say,
had to happen for them to get in,
yeah, I like
but they should
Miami.
get this W. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
with you on
the
that.
only thing,
They should get
the
this
only
win
thing,
over the Jets.
the only thing I don't like about Miami is going to the Jets and it's ice cold.
Right. Because they do not do cold weather.
They do not. They do not. But I do like Miami.
Hmm.
All right, let me see what we got here. I'm trying to. All right, and then we got the Chargers and the Raiders conference game. Always
Hmm.
tough. The Chargers are already in the playoffs, but I think they, I think they come and let the starters play the first series or two
Hmm.
because they still could. No, no, no. Yeah, if they win, there's still some maybe moving up a little. Um, and the Charger. I mean, and the Raiders are going to be playing. Just, I mean, but I just think the Chargers, if he keeps Herbert in there for the whole thing, are just too much for him.
Hmm.
Um, even though at times, even though at times, um, even though at times the Raiders play really good, they're just not consistent. I mean, to me, that's the thing and I think there'll be a huge shakedown in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
I think
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be a
spend a
huge shakedown.
spend $1 billion on a stadium.
Yeah, you got to get a team in there that can at least win some games, and bring some seats in the bring some people
And
in the seats.
and what's so crazy is right now they're doing well with attendance because they are in Las Vegas and they
Hmm.
offer a lot of they have these suites that are right there on the ground on kind of on the field with couches and
Yeah,
TVs, kind of
yeah,
Las
I've
Vegas
seen
flair.
those.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, so they're but at some point nobody's going to want to go see where are we at the Raiders 4-12. You
four
know
and
what I mean?
12.
It's
Right.
like after a while
You
it's
want to see
like
some
okay
action?
that
Yeah,
we want to see something.
yeah, yeah.
In the
It's nice
last
and
game
all, but
it's nice and all, but I mean at some point they got to put a winner and they need a lot of stuff. They need a quarterback. I mean, they need some. They need a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they need. They'll get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of good draft choices. Um, this year, obviously, the Giants are going to get the first draft choice.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Chicago Bears, and then the Raiders, and Cleveland. It's going to be Cleveland. It's either going to be Cleveland, Las Vegas, Chicago, and New England Patriots will all get a bunch of um, first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
So the next game is Seattle, and they got Seattle as being the favorite, and they got the Rams. So the Rams
Ooh,
are
and they got
already,
the Rams
are,
at home.
yeah, and the Rams are already clinched.
Right.
So he may be sitting a bunch of people out too
Mm-hmm.
because because Seattle should not be, and that's why I hate the end of the last week. It's just, what I mean, because it's so hard to, because very few games are for anything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard. It's like, to me, it's like picking preseason games. Um,
Right.
and I guess so. The Sunday night 3:25 game. That's it, huh? I'm trying to make sure
Yeah. 325 game on Fox.
and that's it. There's no more.
Right, because the 7 o'clock game, Steelers and Bengals, that's gonna be on ESPN Plus. And that's
But
the
that's
7 p.m. game.
wait a minute. But oh, is that? But what day is that on? Is that on Thursday? What day is that on?
That is
So
Saturday.
Jan
So
Saturdays.
Bengals Steelers is Saturday evening, 7 p.m. ESPN Plus.
Okay, so there is no Sunday night game.
Uh
No,
no, it's not.
it's a three. The last game of the season is at 3:25. The
Right.
last four games is, let me see. The
You're
last four
right.
games is Kansas City and the Broncos, Miami at the Jets, LA at the Raiders, LA Chargers at the Raiders, Seattle Seahawks
Mhm.
at the Rams, and I guess that's it, man. We're wrapped up. That's the whole
Oh, we
year.
got Lions Vikings Sunday
Oh,
night.
when is
Oh, Lions
why?
Vikings Sunday night on Peacock.
We sure That's why it's not. Yes, yes, Lions Vikings, and that's going to be. See, it's not pulling that up on mine. And that's going to be a hell of a game because for that's basically for first
Uh
place,
yeah, the top seed. So yeah,
top
this
seed.
definitely a game you want to watch.
Standing, yeah, it wasn't coming up, and I kept thinking like, I know there's a game, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. Let me see. Score schedule.
Ooh.
Yeah, Detroit matchup. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be on
Yeah, yeah,
NBC
yeah.
Peacock.
Yeah. Boy, they're doing all they can do to make us stream every different direction.
Oh yeah.
Holy
We got to
cow.
get all of it. We got to get it. It's gonna be worse next season because
Yes, it is.
because it's gonna go up every year. It costs more to
Yes.
get. Every year it's gonna go up, and NFL is trying to be everywhere.
Yeah, because what was it? The Thursday game it was on Prime, and then the
Hmm.
and then the Christmas games were on the NFL Network.
I think so. NFL Network.
Yeah, 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 they got way too many streams. Well, guys,
Hmm.
man, this is our season. We still got the playoffs. We got money to be made in
Right.
the playoffs. We got the Super Bowl. a lot more football. But like I said, these last games, they're hard to pick. I can tell you,
Yeah.
oh man, what you gonna do? Gamble wise, make your picks wise, because it's hard when you don't know who's gonna start. But that being said, be careful. The playoffs are coming, and that
Mm-hmm.
cuts everything down quite a bit. But I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone at our KM Radio family. I want to wish everyone and Big Lou a happy new year, 2025. We got a bunch of stuff that we got planned. We're going to try to make it even better with the sports book. Um, so stick with it. I know KM Radio's got a bunch of great things happening in 2025. We just got to put our head down, just keep on grinding. And like I said, if you guys
Right.
want to reach us, reach out to us on KM Radio Facebook or the Sports Book. DM us. We'll get back with you. If you got an event, business, whatever, advertisement, just reach out to us. And we want to thank everyone again, all our sponsors, SI Motorsports, Big Robbie's Pool Hall, Once Upon a Diamond, to name a few. Hey, man, everyone, Happy New Year. Much love right here on KM Radio, where we go ham.
Hell.